With breaking news overnight, officials say 3 people were killed and multiple others wounded in a shooting at a house party in California. Long Beach Fire Department says they were called to the scene of a mass casualty
who was murdered in Long Beach is now a big step closer to some justice. Police announcing today that 3 men have been arrested for the deadly shooting of 37-year-old Yanet Ramirez Miranda. He was killed.
Flowers and a framed picture of 34-year-old Vanessa Malapule marked the spot where 5 people were found shot to death.
No one ever think it would be her out of all people, but that's how it happened. No one knows how it happened.
Long Beach, California, has long grappled with the persistent threat of gang violence, a reality underscored by a series of high-profile crimes in recent years involving multiple gangs, including the Tiny Rascals gang, Nuthood Watts, Baby Insane Crips, and unaffiliated youth drawn into violent turf wars. These incidents, from the tragic 2019 Halloween mass shooting carried out by Tiny Rascals members, to the execution-style deletions at a homeless encampment by Nuthood Watts affiliates, to the accidental death of an innocent street vendor in 2024, paint a harrowing picture of how gang rivalries, misinformation, and access to firearms have endangered both targeted individuals and bystanders alike. Despite sustained efforts by Long Beach law enforcement, including widespread raids, multi-agency investigations, and high-profile convictions, the city remains caught in a complex struggle to dismantle entrenched gang networks while also addressing the broader social factors that feed into youth recruitment and violent retaliation.
Officials say 3 people were killed and multiple others wounded in a shooting at a house party in California. Long Beach Fire Department says they were called to the scene of a mass casualty incident Tuesday night. When they arrived at the home, they found a total of 12 people, at least 3 confirmed dead and 9 injured. All of the deceased victims were male, and police immediately set up a perimeter around the home as investigators searched for clues.
Police say it was about 25 to 30 people who were at the party Tuesday night. It was a celebration for Halloween, also a birthday party. Police say the gunman came in from an alley behind the home and then just opened fire. In addition to the 3, 9 others were wounded.
Long Beach police arrested 12 people in connection with a mass shooting at a Halloween party last year. 3 men died and 9 people were injured. Police say they believe it was a pre-planned attack targeting a party of rival gang members. Investigators say 8 people rode in 3 SUVs from North Long Beach to the home on 7th Street. 3 of them started shooting from an alley into a crowd of 25 to 30 people gathered in the backyard of a home.
On the night of October 29, 2019, a Halloween-themed birthday party in Long Beach's Rose Park neighborhood turned into one of the most tragic mass shootings in the city's recent history. What began as a celebration with friends, family, and co-workers ended in chaos and bloodshed when 3 masked gunmen opened fire from a nearby alley. The shooters, later identified as members of the Tiny Rascals gang, believed they were targeting a rival gang gathering. In reality, the party had no gang affiliation, and all the victims were innocent. The shooting occurred around 10:30 p.m. at a home located at 2711 East 7th Street, near Temple Avenue. A group of Tiny Rascals gang members had convened earlier that day in North Long Beach and drove 7 miles to the party's location. Acting on misinformation, they carried out a planned ambush. As guests gathered in the backyard, 3 assailants opened fire, spraying bullets into the crowd. When the shooting stopped, 3 men had met their demise and 9 others were wounded. The victims who lost their lives were later identified as 25-year-old Maurice Poe Jr. of Long Beach, 35-year-old Melvin Williams of Gardena, and 28-year-old Ricardo Torres of Inglewood. The attack shocked the community. Candlelight vigils and memorials followed within days. On October 30th, family, friends, and neighbors gathered to honor the victims, lighting candles with their names and mourning together. A week later, the family of the party host held a traditional Buddhist memorial service in the same backyard where the attack took place. Monks led prayers, and incense filled the air as loved ones tried to find peace amidst the trauma. By September 2020, 10 suspects had been arrested, all identified as members or affiliates of the Tiny Rascals gang. Those arrested included Jeremy Penn, who police and prosecutors labeled as the shot caller or mastermind of the attack, along with David Hang Long, Kalen Thick, Ryan Sim, Grant Johnson, and Joshua Sam. Additional suspects included Danny Sorn, Christopher Williams, and others who played supporting roles as drivers or lookouts. According to prosecutors, Penn called a meeting in his North Long Beach apartment on the day of the attack. At that meeting, he instructed younger gang members to target what they wrongly believed was a rival gang party. The shooters Long, Thick, and Sim were selected by Penn to carry out the attack in exchange for earning their stripes. Sam and Johnson acted as getaway drivers, while others, like Sorn and Williams, served as lookouts. The attackers used 3 handguns, later recovered and matched to the crime scene through ballistic evidence. Surveillance video, phone records, and jailhouse recordings further tied the group to the shooting. In early 2022, formal charges were filed. 8 of the 10 suspects faced 3 counts of first-degree deletion and 9 counts of attempted deletion. The remaining 2 were eventually charged only with firearm-related offenses. In March 2023, Joshua Sam agreed to a plea deal, pleading no contest to 3 counts of voluntary manslaughter and 3 counts of attempted deletion, in return for his cooperation and testimony against the others. Sam received a 17-year prison sentence. The main trial for the remaining 5 defendants, Penn, Long, Thick, Sim, and Johnson, began in 2023. In a surprising moment during the trial, Brian Sim took the stand and claimed he acted alone, saying he was motivated by a personal grudge and was not following orders. Prosecutors, however, argued that this testimony was self-serving and contradicted the evidence. After 2 days of deliberation in November 2023, the jury returned guilty verdicts on all counts for all 5 men. In December, Judge Laura Lasik sentenced each to life in prison without the possibility of parole. She stated that the defendants showed no remorse and that their crimes left a permanent scar on the community. In February 2024, Sam was formally sentenced under his plea deal. Judge Lasik echoed this sentiment, telling Sam and the others that the trauma they caused would outlast even their prison sentences. The 2019 Long Beach Halloween shooting remains one of the most senseless acts of gang violence in the city's history. It underscored the devastating impact of mistaken identity and the far-reaching consequences of street gang culture.
Candles, flowers, and a framed picture of 34-year-old Vanessa Malapule marked the spot where 5 people were found shot to death.
No one ever think it would be her out of all people, but that's how it happened. No one knows how it happened. We don't know how. We never knew she was hanging out over here.
The 3 men and 2 women happened in a homeless encampment next to a Long Beach, California freeway. The coroner's office says some of the victims were shot multiple times. Those who live nearby say there's a lot of drug dealing in the wooded area.
In September 2017, a Los Angeles County jury found David Cruz Ponce and Max Eliseo Rafael guilty for one of Long Beach's most horrific mass deletions, a 2008 execution-style deletion at a homeless encampment near the 405 freeway. Both men were identified as members of the Nuthood Watts criminal street gang. The jury deliberated for just 1 day before convicting them on 5 counts of first-degree deletion and 1 count of kidnapping. Jurors also found special circumstances to be true. The deletions were committed during a kidnapping, involved multiple victims, and were gang-related in nature. The deletions occurred on the morning of November 1, 2008. Ponce and Rafael targeted an encampment where 5 individuals were living: Lorenzo Villicana, Catherine Verdun, Hamid Shrafat, Frederick Neumeyer, and Vanessa Malapule. According to prosecutors, the primary motive stemmed from a drug-related debt involving Ponce and one of the victims, Villicana. The other 4 victims were executed to eliminate potential witnesses. Prosecutors presented damning jailhouse recordings in which the defendants were overheard bragging about the deletion statements that would prove pivotal in securing the convictions. The brutality of the crime shocked the community. In addition to the encampment massacre, David Ponce was also convicted for the March 2009 kidnapping and deletion of Tony Bledsoe in Lancaster, as well as multiple counts of illegal firearm possession. Given the extreme nature of the crimes, the jury recommended the death penalty for Ponce in October 2017. Max Raphael, by contrast, was sentenced to 5 consecutive life terms without the possibility of parole, a punishment that reflected both the gravity of his actions and his lack of remorse. In January 2018, Raphael was formally sentenced to life in prison, and Ponce's death penalty hearing proceeded shortly thereafter.
The family of a street vendor who was in Long Beach is now a big step closer to some justice. Police announcing today that 3 men have been arrested for the deadly shooting of 37-year-old Yanier Ramirez Miranda. He was killed back in March when police say he was shot by a stray bullet during what police call a gang shooting. Investigators say Ramirez Miranda has no gang ties.
On the afternoon of March 20th, 2024, a tragic shooting in Long Beach claimed the life of an innocent street vendor, 37-year-old Nuthood Ramirez Miranda. Known affectionately in the neighborhood as the Corn Guy, Ramirez Miranda was selling food around 4 p.m. in the 100 block of East Eagle Street when he was fatally struck by stray gunfire. Emergency responders quickly transported him to a local hospital, but he ultimately succumbed to his injuries. Authorities emphasized that Ramirez Miranda had no gang affiliation and was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. According to investigators, multiple suspects were present in the area when at least one individual opened fire, likely aiming at rival gang members. Ramirez Miranda, who had no known connection to the shooters or their targets, was unintentionally hit during the exchange. By July 2024, Long Beach police arrested 3 individuals in connection with the deletion. All 3 were identified as documented gang members. The case is now moving forward in the Los Angeles County Court system. At a news conference today, with Long Beach Police Chief Jim McDonald said LBPD has arrested the alleged leader of Long Beach's Baby Insane Crips gang and 15 other alleged members of the gang it says is involved in 13 shootings in 3 separate shooting series, and at least 1 deletion since November 2009. As detectives reviewed each of the reports and re-interviewed witnesses and victims, a profile began to emerge. The profile revealed that all 3 shooting series were being committed by the Baby Insane Crip criminal street gang. Interviews with other gang members helped detectives identify a specific group within the gang who may be responsible for these crimes. During the investigation, detectives were able to construct a current organizational chart of the gang with the objective of tearing down its leadership and solving as many crimes as possible. Sabril Ackland, who was identified as the leader of the Baby Insane Crip gang, ran his criminal enterprise in Long Beach from his home in Rialto. Ackland would direct his gang to target other gang members, commit robberies, burglaries, and identity theft. Additional associates of the gang were also arrested for their involvement in aiding the gang. Detectives believe these suspects are responsible for additional shootings, burglaries, and robberies. These cases marked by premeditated attacks, mistaken identity deletions, and the senseless loss of innocent lives highlight the urgent need for a strategy in Long Beach that balances strong law enforcement with prevention, education, and community support. The justice system has delivered long sentences and convictions for many of the perpetrators, but the pain left behind in grieving families and traumatized neighborhoods endures. As city leaders and residents continue to confront the consequences of gang culture, these tragedies serve as painful reminders of the cost of inaction and the importance of sustained efforts to protect vulnerable communities, dismantle violent networks, and offer young people a path away from the cycle of crime.